In this world, the gods of the world continued to fall as they fought in the battle against the evil gods of the void. One question arose: who shall protect humans in the future? The gods sacrificed their flesh and blood and raised up the final barrier for the human race. By burning down their power, they started the grandest and most dangerous trial of gods for the humans. And for the lucky ones rewarded with the qualifications of the trial, they were known as the inheritors. They were welcomed to the realm of the gods, the place of trial for the new gods. This time, the chosen ones were required to complete the trial of the gods and to become the new gods of the world. The inheritors have to defeat the various god bosses and obtain a divine power system that matches their profession and become a new god, together with the gods of the previous era, uniting the strength of all gods and annihilating the evil void gods. Even mortals are where the two face the power of the void too. They have to restore the glory of the gods. But a question arises: can the glory of God really be restored? A mysterious voice questions the chosen one. What their body has awakened, are they truly power, or are they divine? It's so annoying. He does not understand what was happening. At that moment, he tears through everything, believing he has trained for countless days and nights. He has experienced countless dangerous battles and climbed up again and again. He believes his skills aren't something the so-called gods can steal away. In the next scene of Warrior never thought that even they, who once thought of themselves as invincible, would have such a destitute day. He believes after this battle, everything should come to an end. The name of this warrior is Zheng Chenying. Next to him was the ruler of light, Zoya Chinea, who worriedly questioned if they could win this battle. At that moment, the king of rulers, Odin, states it's not over until the final moment. They must believe in them. On the other side, a man named Ladzi, the moral lord, attempts to complete the 9 revolutions great formation. He believes this is their last chance. Suddenly, the sky opened the portal from where the evil rulers began to enter their realm with an intention to kill everyone. At that moment, Zhengchen and Zoya saw Young Giant, who was badly injured, failed to hold the enemies back and they forced their way into their realm. Suddenly, Chinea was attacked by vermins, who was accompanied by the son of the Black Mist, Getoya. In the midst of this battle, Getoya attacks Zeus with a killing move, but Zeus dodges its attack and strikes towards the evil enemy's army. Even Ladzi helps Zeus as they are worthless scum from the other realms. He warns them to get off from Earth. Suddenly, a dragon from behind attacks Zeus with fire. Getoya sees an opening and again attacks Zeus with a powerful strike. But Zeus again manages to dodge it and counterattacks. But he failed. Getoya trapped him and then he crushed Zeus's body, stating this is the fate of all who oppose them. The era of rulers has ended. Now they have just become a bunch of beautiful creatures. Ladzi didn't lose hope and continued fighting them, believing so what if it's the twilight of the rulers? They may be silent for now, but there will be a new sun rising. Lying on the ground, on the verge of death, Zeus' final words. Finally it has come, the rise formation. The old rulers fall and the new rulers will rise. As long as Earth exists, humanity persists, and the rulers are reborn. In that moment, their successors will eventually restore the glory of the rulers. In the next scene, we see a building highlighted with a big screen, displaying a beautiful girl, who is advertising their real-life competitive game Rulers Realmy. The most fascinating aspect is the path to rulership hidden along the way to victory, and it has attracted outstanding players from all walks of life. They sincerely provide every player with the most wonderful upgrade experience. Outside the building, there were a few people happy about the fact that after 10 years, they had finally learned the magic of the Radiant Moon, and also a level 50 magic arrow controller was discovered, so they should proceed with immediate recycling. Inside the building was a bald guy, looking at those punks, realizing that's another one who went mad. They have spent a decade awakening talents to enter the game, then spend another decade or so to control the elements in the real world, and then with a bang, he died. The bald guy was speaking to a mechanic who questions him what's so good about this broken game. Aren't the players just working stiffs? To which the bald guy responded that he can't say like that, as the players can not only obtain various items and treasures in the game but also possess supernatural abilities. The name of the mechanic is Jai Xiangfeng. The bald guy continues that the most important thing of all about the game is that everything a player obtains can be used in real life. On the other side, the mad guy was captured by 2 bodyguards because according to the foreign regulations of Rulers Realmy, his spirit has been severely polluted, and he will have to undergo a stripping surgery for treatment, to which the mad guy resisted, claiming to be a noble inherited, and that they are blaspheming the ruler blasphemy. The bald guy believes the higher the game level, the higher will be their social status. Those without gifts are isolated and can only become the bottom of society, sharing the least social resources. Zhang got mad and tells him to shut up or else the bottom of society will raise the price on him. Although the bald guy is a gifted one, but he believes middle-aged men are the real bottom of society. Then Feng asks him when will this most expensive gifted one pay for his services, to which he responded that the next time. After when he is finished with the task in Spider Nest 6 at the end of the month, he promises to pay him for his services. Just then he checks if his device has been fixed by the mechanic. By smashing through a stone with his fist, he shatters it in pieces and feels confident and full of power. He thanks Feng and asks him to wait until he passes his desired level and get the money. He promises to treat him with a meal, to which Feng responded that they will talk about it at the end of the month if he would be still alive. He assures Feng that he will find the person he is looking for. After that, Feng heads towards his home. On his way he thinks of old Jai, the man he wants to find, questioning what does he have to do to find him. When he reaches his doorstep, he noticed a parcel. He was surprised to see a delivery for him. Excitedly he opens the box believing if it could be that he won the lottery last time. Inside the box he finds a simple necklace. Just then his attention diverts towards his neighbor Aunt Rue, his landlady, who angrily questions him that it's been a long time since he has paid the rent. If she doesn't see the money in 3 days, she will kick him out. Worriedly Feng assures her to pay the rent today. But does she accept installments? He offers the necklace to her. Suddenly the necklace started sparkling in his hands. Shocked questions if this thing is alive. At that moment that necklace started choking his neck. Seeing that the landlady questions why did he suddenly roll its eyes, she wonders if he also got that crazy disease. At that moment Feng screamed in pain because the necklace tries to kill him. Just then all of a sudden, it stopped. Confused he questions what the hell is this thing. It scared him to death. The landlady comes out of her house and states to set things up and asks him to not be scary, to which Feng assures her that there is no problem. Suddenly he got teleported to a mysterious place. He was surprised and shocked to see that. At that moment he saw a giant spirit, holding a giant axe in its hands. Feng was shocked to see the giant spirit right in front of him. Out of nowhere, he was congratulated on becoming a player in Ruler's Realm. He was requested to complete his initial challenge. He was shocked to see he has become a player in Ruler's Realm. When he was a kid, he used to fix technical stuff like the compass mechanism, solely responsible for directing the movement of valuable artifacts within the power framework. Then the question arises, how does this glass bead achieve such wondrous functions? At that moment, his father returned home. He picked up a lot of items in the dungeon this time. He could play with them again. That was his final memory of his dad at home. After that day, he disappeared. The police informed him there were no records of his game activity. His father just disappeared. Since that day, he thought that the key to old Jai's disappearance lies in the game, so he decided to become a player himself. But at that age, unable to awaken his talent, so he was unable to start the game. Eventually, he grew older trying to start the game but failed to do so. In all those years trying to start the game, he ended up accepting the fact that old Jai will never come back. A burning passion for something unknown drives him forward. Now in the current scenario, he is happy to be a player at last, because his intense passion was to be a player. Then he starts the game. Immediately he was attacked by that giant spirit. He was unable to dodge it and faced some injuries. He was surprised to see that his first opponent is a giant spirit. It's strong. He realizes that the new player pass rate is between 58% to 64%. He can't perish upon arrival. The game appears to have a mortality limit. At that moment, the necklace provided him with a sword, which can be chosen as its primary attributes. The giant spirit again strikes a powerful blow at him, but this time he manages to stop it using the sword. His current health was low. He has to choose a healing item. He realizes that after much struggle to become a player, he cannot succumb here. Dungeons are the swiftest means in Ruler's Realm to ascend levels, acquire equipment materials, and procure items. The complexity of dungeons is typically auto-calculated based on the player's level and innate abilities. Dungeon types are categorized by participant count into solo and group, and by gameplay into puzzle solving, combat, narrative roleplay, challenges, and competitive modes. While most dungeons are static, a few are dynamic, and they might evolve due to the influence of certain players. One can never be too sure. Feng barely managed to stop its first attack. It was so intense that it caused a severe decline in his health. He needs to select a healing item. After much struggle to become a player, he cannot succumb here. At that moment, he was surprised to see the sword he received from the necklace stop the attack. He also noticed that someone was healing him. Just then, a group arrived there with weapons, trying to help the kid who has taken damage from the boss. They decided to take it down. Feng was surprised to see them. The joint one with an armor was Xiao Wu Lao Jai, who uses a type combat mode, a girl with water bullet technique, and another one with ice star skill. Feng couldn't believe what he was seeing. He wonders if his eyes deceived him just now. The moment this big guy was attacked, the flames turned into a spray of water. One of them got pissed about the fact that how is this possible, as water magic attacks on this giant spirit should cause double damage. But it's not leaving a scratch on it. Things were not going as expected. Just then, another spirit attacked them out of nowhere. They realized their carelessness, as this is no ordinary giant spirit. They decided to get out of that place. Suddenly, the giant chides that they are overestimating their capabilities. Just then, he strikes a powerful blow at them. Xiao Wu was hit and badly wounded by it. That moment Feng realizes this newbie boss's regular attacks are useless. In this case, all they can do is fight. Just then, he gets up on his feet and strikes multiple blows at the giant spirit. All those game plan strategies he guessed have never been proven, but he believes he can only give it a shot now. He then mocks the giant spirit if swinging an axe is all he can do. Just then, the giant spirit uses its special technique and strikes a powerful blow at him. His body was going numb. He can barely feel the pain anymore. He tries to dodge its attack by running, but the spirit still got him. He decides to keep going for a little while longer until the opportunity comes for him to strike a powerful blow at it. Feng was heavily bleeding. Just then, the spirit attacks him with its special technique. At that moment, he saw an opening. He stops its attack, as someone on the Ruler's Realm forum once proposed a dual attribute transformation theory. If he can reflect the attack at the moment it switches attributes, even a newbie could kill a boss without taking any damage. Then he saw an opening and sensed the right time to attack the giant spirit, draws a powerful strike at it and managed to defeat it. After that, he thanked the person who came up with this theory. He was congratulated for achieving the first kill of Ice Flame Giant Spirit. He passed the newbie trial and achieving the 1 in 10,000 achievements. Suddenly, a mysterious man standing at the cliff watching Feng felt he was just too slow, allowing him to become a player. In the Ruler's Realm, reflecting attacks is a high-risk, high-reward action. By using defensive weapons or melee weapons, he can perfectly reflect the damage back when the boss launches a special attack. In the Ruler's Realm, the bosses that can be attacked with this reflection are all mechanical bosses. In the next scene, Feng wakes up. He found himself lying on the floor in his house. He was surprised that he has returned alive from the realm of the gods. He was congratulated on completing the S-rank newcomer dungeon by defeating the Ice Flame Giant Spirit God. He will receive rewards. He was got 2 flame stones, 1 ice flame armor, 2 water spirit stones, and 5,000 solo boss completion experience. He realizes the rewards are quite generous. There is no wonder he almost got beaten to death by the boss. Next, he is asked to test his talent type. Just then he got teleported again to the realm of the gods, where he was told that it has a total of 7 classes and each class can choose specific divine powers based on the player's leveling direction once they reach level 50. Now he has to activate his class at the corresponding divine tree. He wonders what class it will be. Harvester, who masters the power of death and reincarnation, capable of summoning dark undead and has 100% resistance to dark elements. Next is Divine Warrior, who masters the power of courage and storms, possessing strong damage and vitality. Next is Saint, who masters the power of rules and order, capable of manipulating time and space of enemies. Next, Elemental Sage, who masters the power of earth and nature, with 7 powerful natural elements and 3 major talent branches. It also poses the most divine class skills. Next is the Propagator, masters the power of chaos and blessing with innate attributes of spreading disaster and blessing, possessing the widest range of area of effect attack skills. After reaching at this point, he realizes they all seem powerful, and it's difficult for him to choose. Then comes the Administrator and then the Spirit Chantress. After that, there were no other classes left. He wonders what is going on. Is the game experience over? He realizes none of them can be selected. Or did the developers have nothing better to do than make him do grunt work? Just then, a bright shining thing started summoning in front of him. It was a scroll. He opens it and found he has obtained the unique S-rank hidden class that is Primordial Being. His stats were at a beginner level. At that moment he wonders whether Primordial Being is even a class in this game. Suddenly, he felt like something was boiling inside his body, which made him undergo a lot of pain. After that, he gets up on his feet, confusing upon his situation. He wonders if this is also a part of the class activation process too. Just then he saw a giant bright blue eye summoning in front of him in the sky. It stated that he has received their inheritance. Now he must act as the agent of heaven, protecting this vast world. but he was confused and questions about its identity. At that moment it got pissed with his words and immediately attacked him. It warns this is the final chance. Just then he returns back to his home, confused. He questions what were those things he felt just now. He believes this is definitely not the process of class awakening. He ran towards his computer and searched how did Realm of the Gods originally come into existence. Could its incredible power truly originate from divine forces? Just then he saw the Realm of the Gods online official world forum on the computer screen. That made him thinking about that single eye. Perhaps it is beyond his comprehension. Then he started to search about the single eye, but it went from day to dark and there was nothing to be found about it. There was nothing on the internet, not even a single word about it. He then calmed himself down. He thinks about it carefully about how he entered the game from the beginning. At that time, it felt like something entered his body when the necklace suddenly went crazy, and then he entered the game out of nowhere. He also obtained that weapon from here. He wonders what is its origin. Just then he remembers about the delivery box from where he found the necklace, from where everything started. He went outside and started searching for that delivery box in the garbage area. After a while, he finally found it. Then he opened the box and found something creepy in it. At that moment his landlady came from behind and asked him what was he doing over there. He was surprised to see her. Then he headed towards his home. There was a piece of paper he found in that delivery box which said, "Son, this is a gift for him." He wonders what is Jai up to. Then he was asked if he would like to participate in matching for multiplayer strategy dungeon. Also, since he couldn't find any information, he will have to explore in the game. He agreed to join the match. Then he was welcomed to the multiplayer newcomer strategy dungeon day, Night Wanderer. He has to be cautious at all times. Newcomer protection has expired. The day, Night Wanderer will take away his true life. In the next scene, he entered the game and recognized that this is the Divine Realm, a game instance. There were other players as well in the game, and an excited guy states that it's his first time entering a multiplayer instance. The light, the clouds, the shadows, the grand scenery, everything seems awesome in this divine realm. A beautiful girl was surprised to see so many newcomers this time. She assures her little brother that she will take care of him. Among them was a serious guy who questions if the others have noticed the prompt, as people can die in this instance. Then they were informed about the clearing rule: 10 rabbits go in circles, 7 die, leaving 3 rabbits scatter and the sun sets, disappearing, and there's a dawn bird. The black rabbit licks its mouth. Feng was confused. He doesn't understand what rabbits and what bird. A girl behind him believes that, according to her, it seems that the clearance rules are directly based on riddles. This instance is likely to have unexpected difficulties. It's unlucky for the newbies to encounter the idle challenge mode. She warns him to be careful and try not to die too early. Then Feng understands that since the rules are hidden in riddles, it's unlikely that this time it's simply about defeating the boss. He has to be prepared and embrace adaptability. He has to make use of all the tools available with him. His stats are beginner level, but as being a primitive human, he masters the power of a primordial essence and chaos. It's a player's special talent class with no specific attributes, but he can transform into any class through skills, and his elemental adaptability will be 100%. With this divine skill replication, he can replicate a random skill of the encountered deity. He can unlock the divine techniques just by touching the deity. He wonders if this is a special skill given by the primitive human class. This is absolutely incredible. If he were to touch a deity of the level of the Supreme Old Lord, he can't even imagine. Then he was asked to select whether to operate his new equipment now or later. He can use his rewards in this match, and so he decides to synthesize. He realizes only the Aqua Stone can be synthesized with the armor. The Aqua Stone was a B-grade material which after synthesizing transformed into a grade armor with increased stats. He noticed that only items with undiscovered attributes can be synthesized, and if they can stack infinitely, he believes that would make him invincible. Just then he received a sword called Juke, but this item is not recorded. He was unable to identify the sword. He wonders how did he receive this sword if this item is not from the game. Then he questions how can there be a Dawn Father who gives his son riddles every day. On the other side, there was a guy who was judging other players. He noticed there is one fatty, one mommy's boy, one glasses wearer, one pretty boy, and one poor boy. This guy's name is Chu Yu, and he was a level 9 player. Also, he was the heir of the Jianje group, of fire elemental image. He realizes all the other players are low-level trash. Then he chooses Feng to be his first pawn. Then he approached him and called him a poor guy who won't survive this instance without teaming up. Instead of being cannon fodder, he asks him to become his underling, plans to be the heir of the Jiangbei group, and he can give him a large sum of money. to which Feng responded that he is not interested and that he can find someone else. This pissed him off, and he attacked Feng using his special skill, but he stopped it with his sword and states that internal conflict is a taboo in tackling major instances. Is he planning something sinister? Even the other players noticed their fighting and realized that lack of cooperation among players would easily lead to a wipeout. They have a big shot today. He asks them to play the game properly. At that moment, Chu Yu was surprised to see his fast reaction speed in stopping his attack with a sword like it was nothing. Then Chu Yu left from that place with a smile on his face because he already knows the rules in advance. And the real show is here to come. After that, Feng wonders why hasn't the boss of the instance appeared. Then he notices it was getting hotter and hotter in that place. The other players were getting impatient and thirsty. Feng realizes the game has already begun. Just then a player noticed a fire behind him out of nowhere. In the next moment, he got all burned up and died in an instance. The other players got scared and ran away from him. At that moment, the instance boss, Riaoshin, appeared stating impatience is not a good habit. The instance boss has appeared, and all the players are asked to survive until the safe time after sunset. The hunt for the white egg has begun. All the players were surprised to see the instance boss. They realized that the ones burned to death were among the top 50 newcomers. Just then, the boss found her next target among the players. The players also attempted to interrupt her attacks with theirs, using their long-range skills on her to disrupt her rhythm, or she will burn all of them to death. All of them work together as a team. Mages at 4 o'clock position will cast a lightning circle. Mages at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock will stand by for the moment. In this situation, they have to use ice and water skills to freeze her, then trigger the lightning for an explosion. But she was expecting them to bask in the warmth of the sun. The players' attacks on the boss looked successful. For a moment, they thought they hit her and she was defeated. Just then, their attention diverted towards a mysterious item behind them shining. At that moment, they heard the sound of a pinch. It was the boss. She announced that the hunt is over and that the chosen lucky ones turned to ashes. In a split of a second, she instantly killed many players who got no chance to fight back. She states that they were adorable foolish monkeys. The ruler had already given them a warning. Just then, the handsome guy uses his strike sanchosing technique at her, but it had no effect on the boss. He was surprised to see that. He wonders if the Sun Traveler ruler has a divine invincibility mechanism. Divine invincibility is a state of super armor, which is difficult to be damaged or controlled by players under normal circumstances. Feng noticed that invincibility plus invisible attacks. This newbie dungeon is twisted. The boss states that from this moment, every half hour, 10 people or perhaps even more will die under her flames. On the other side, Chu Yu was watching this whole scenario and realized that this dungeon is a deceptive trap for inexperienced newbies seeking a challenge. He believes they have to give up their resistance. At that moment, Feng realized that his only trump card is the divine skill replication, but it needs to be a sure hit. He realizes if they let the Sun Traveler keep killing like this, even if they last until the safe time at sunset, many players will be eliminated, and that will surely increase the difficulty of facing the Sun Traveler ruler. All of the players were tense to see that all of their attacks are ineffective on her. They question how do they fight against her. Are they just supposed to merely gamble on luck, or passively wait to be eliminated? Just boss announces that the hunting time starts again. The players start running away from her because they don't want to die and even try to log out. They are done playing this game. Just then, the handsome guy assures them to calm down. For rules-based boss, brute force is not the answer to vanquish her. Feng states that they must use the rules to win against her. The boss overheard their conversation and agreed with Feng's idea, and so she chose him as her next target and immediately attacked him. Feng saw an opening in that second and realized this is the perfect timing. He decides to be the one to break her rules. She finds him interesting, and so Feng starts running. She uses her invincibility and started burning players one by one. The players can't see how she's attacking. At that moment, Feng found it strange that she is not attacking him, and also he is unable to locate her position. It feels like he is playing a game of cat and mouse. Just then, he realizes that cat, hide and seek, then the rabbits signify something. At that moment, the ruler asks him why isn't he running. Feng activated his high-order flame armor, which almost saved him from getting burned to death by the ruler's attack. The ruler realizes that this kid is different. Feng notices that the ruler uses shadows to move and attack, and he has figured out the rules of the game. Chu Yu from behind states he must have set something. The other players, the Sun Traveler ruler was clearly chasing him. They ask why and also why did the flame consume everyone around him, but not him. In the next scene, Feng announces to all the players that now he understands what the clearance rules mean now. The rabbits refer to players, and 10 times is just the number of people participating in the dungeon. Hide and seek, they are being chased by the invisible attacks of the ruler of the sun. Playing hide and seek. If 7 died and only 3 are left, he guesses that's the worst outcome. If they can't figure out the ruler of the sun's attack rules, then by sunset, exactly 70% of the players will be eliminated, and the ruler of the night dungeon will be dangerous. To which Chuyu agreed and states that it's just his guess, and the fact now is so many players with stronger abilities than he haven't avoided the sun ruler's attacks. Then he questions why should he, a measly level 3. It sounds plausible, but maybe it's a trap in this game, to which the girl agreed, but also he did just survive her attack. Just then, a player announces that everyone's spread out now as half an hour has passed. It's chatting again. The fatty guy whispers that he has decided to follow that level 9 big shot. Although he's annoying, he should be the safest. At that moment, the handsome guy believes in Feng and in his inference, but he questions how do they catch the boss hiding in the shadows now, to which he responded that it depends on whether he can play his trump card against her. Just then he stretches his muscles and then in a sudden movement jumps towards the ruler, stating that her divine skill is now his. The other players were surprised to see that and called him crazy because he could get burned being so close to the ruler. At that moment, the system prompts, he has touched upon the sun god's eye. The divine power replication has effect recorded, and he has randomly acquired 1 divine skill from the sun god's eye. He also acquired the divine skill called shadow transversal. Just then the ruler attacks him, but he jumps back. The handsome guy guesses that shadow transversal is his trump card, and also he has never heard of any profession having this card. He wonders if that's the skill of the ruler. The other players were surprised to see his actions and realized that maybe what he said earlier was true. Then Feng announces that the ruler of the sun is about to attack. If they don't want to die, then stand in the sunlight. They must not let the shadows connect. Then he noticed that the sun is about to set. Then he asked Feng to use his shadow transversal to locate the boss for him and give him a report, as the ruler of the sun has invincibility so they can't damage her. Also, the boss can't maintain invincibility forever. When she is not attacking, she's vulnerable. So when she attacks, it's also the weakest movement. Feng uses his shadow transfer skill to locate her. The ruler was pissed to see weak humans. There are 2 tamper with the ruler's divine skills. She decided to kill all of them. At that moment, Feng located her position. She is at 6 o'clock direction and about 1.5 meters away. Suddenly she attacks the other players and burns them to death. Feng again warns them to stand in sunlight in order to prevent any attack. Then he saved the life of the girl. The ruler got pissed and targeted him. He ran towards Zhu Feng, who used his special skill for saints after level 10 against the ruler. But it was ineffective against her because his levels are too low to capture her and break through her defense. Just then, Feng uses his sword to attack her. He realizes that the difficulty comes from the rules and divine skills, but the strength of the rulers must watch the player's level.